people are going to be spending some extra time in the kitchen this next coming week because, you know, Thanksgiving is next week.
Cambi Brown is live this morning with the Kern County Fire Department with more on how to make sure that you and all your loved ones stay safe in that kitchen this week.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, that's right. Let me tell you, this is definitely some advice that I need. I was telling Sean that I actually had a situation where part of my oven caught on fire because we all know I'm not the best cook. And I was freaking out, and thank goodness my mom was at my house because she was able to put out the fire because I just left the oven door open and it was on fire. Not the best idea. Definitely when it comes to general safety tips in the kitchen, you don't want to leave the oven door open when something's on fire, right?
Absolutely right. And there's a couple of good safety tips that we can talk about right now. We can see our little oven here and our demonstration lot. We've got the handles coming out. It's very...
Here, let me have you stand over here so we can show this a little better. Okay, we have the handles coming out on the side.
It's very easy to knock that and knock the food over, catch yourself on fire, get burnt. So we want to make sure that those handles are turned away so that that alleviates any of that problem. Also with the stove, you know, the cooker door there on the oven, you notice that there is a fire inside. The thing that you don't want to do is come along and open that up, because as soon as you do that, any flames will be, you know, oxygenated and come up in your face. So that's just a couple of really simple cooking tips on there that we can do.
Okay, and we have some oil in this pot, and we're actually going to get out of here, guys, just for safety reasons. And, you know, obviously we know that people are not going to be in full-on gear. We're just doing that for safety reasons. But what is happening here? He's obviously lighting this on fire. We're simulating as if the oil has now caught on fire.
Right, that's absolutely right. So the first thing, for the purposes of our demonstration, obviously we need to make sure it's going to get a little bit hot so we can demonstrate what's going to happen. But if we're simulating right now that this is a grease pan that is on fire, the first thing that you do not want to do is pick that up and try and take it outside, because as soon as you start to walk forward, those flames, you can see now they're starting to get a little bit higher and a little bit higher. They will go up your arms, and then you're going to get burned. You're going to drop the pan, and the fire is going to be spread all over the kitchen. So as Bill comes through forward now, and he's going to put a little bit of water on there.
And obviously people don't have their coffee mug on a stick, but we're just doing this for safety reasons. But you can see putting that water on has actually made the flames go higher.
Right. This is the one thing, again, we do not want to do is put water on the fire, because at this point it's not particularly very hot. But as you can see, the flames are starting to drop over the side of the cooker. If you was to put a lot of water on at any one time, there would be a much bigger spread of that fire, again, onto the cooktop, onto the floor, onto yourself.
So if this does happen, how do you want to put that fire out?
The best and the easiest way to do it is to take the lid and just keep it low, because you can see the smoke level is coming down, is put the lid on top of the pan and it's done. It's out.
Okay, so now we're safe to go back in there?
That's, well, what we do now, the fire is out, we leave the kitchen area, shut the door, and call the fire department to come back and just make sure, because quite often this can escalate again.
Okay.
Do not take the lid off, because as soon as you get oxygen into this area, it can reignite very quickly.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Some good tips from Sean. Hey, also, guys, we got to talk about two things. Number one, the stove. Thank you to Urner's for donating the stove so that we could show that. Number two, this guy just got promoted to captain. So congratulations, and thank you for helping us show all these. Yay! Helping us with these kitchen safety tips. Much needed for me this morning, let me tell you.
Yeah, Cambi, I have to admit, when you guys were showing that, I was thinking to myself, you know, how would I put that out if I don't have a fire extinguisher? It took me a second to remember, oh, put the lid on, so.
No oxygen.
And you want to make sure you go in low when you put the lid on. You don't want to try and go to the top of the flames and can those flames like that. That's not the best way.
You have to stick your arm through the flames then. All right, Cambi, thank you very much.
More on how you make sure you stay safe in that kitchen. Hey, good morning, Cambi.
Good morning, guys. You know, earlier we showed you what happens with this pot. Now we're going to do a frying pan, and we're actually going to start heating this up right now, right, Sean?
Yeah, we're going to start heating this up, Billy. Let's get started on there.
And for safety reasons, we're getting out of the way, obviously.
We're going to move out of the way. Now, obviously, again, as before, we're going to have to warm this up, because normally it's going to take a little while for the product that we're using to get some extra heat into it.
Now, is it usually when people are cooking at home, will the flames get this high?
They will, and higher actually. And if LJ can look at the cupboard above, we've got wooden cabinets here, and we can see already that that's starting to take a toll. You can see how much smoke is actually being produced by this. So in a smaller kitchen, the smoke layer is going to get lower and lower.
A good reminder for people to change out their smoke detector when they change their clock. So if you didn't do that, make sure that you change out those batteries in your smoke detector. Now, one of the things that I said to Sean is, hey, when that fire happened in my oven, we threw baking soda on it. And Bill's actually going to show us exactly what happens, right?
Yeah, what he's going to do now is put some baking soda on it and see what happens when you do that.
Okay, and that makes it even worse, obviously.
It does make it a little bit worse, and you can see maybe that you've got a big fireball. If you're standing in front of it, you may be catching that depending on your clothing that you're wearing. It's not going to be a very good thing. The next thing that people try to do is either pick that up by the handle and walk out of the building, which again is not going to be a very good thing because you're going to be covered with that fire. Let's try and put some flour on it, some regular household flour. Again, people think about flour, it's something they have in their kitchen, and put some flour on it and see what happens with that.
Okay, and that makes it worse too. So what's the best way to get rid of this fire? Whoa, okay.
Again, flour, I mean, it's a product that will burn because it's in such a big powder form. What we want to do here is you approach this fire with your household extinguisher. You can see how that smoke layer is getting lower and lower. So we need to stay low and then aim our fire extinguisher at there and just give it a quick blast to put the fire out.
You know what? I live in an apartment. I don't even know where the fire extinguisher is in my apartment. If someone doesn't have a fire extinguisher, obviously they're going to call 911?
The first thing absolutely you should do, if you don't have that, you need to back away from the fire, close the door to the kitchen and escape from the building. We can see our fire actually now has burnt up the product, and there's not much of that product left in the pan to extinguish.
Okay,
so
thank goodness. And we did that obviously for safety reasons, because we want to make sure that everybody stays safe out here. So some good tips out here this morning, guys. You know, a lot of people think, oh, this will never happen to me. Well, it can and it might, and so you want to make sure that you're really taking the precaution.
With more on how you make sure that everyone stays safe. Hey, good morning, Cambi.
Good morning, guys. Listen, I'm in a kitchen and it's on fire, so pretty much nothing new for me out here this morning. You know, this is not my forte, and this is what's going to happen for a lot of people. They're cooking on Thanksgiving. Maybe they don't usually cook. They don't cook that much. They're using every single burner on their stove, and this could actually be a situation that happens. How does this fire actually start?
quite often the fire is started, obviously whoever's cooking gets busy, the kids are playing, there's a lot of things going on, particularly at Christmas and Thanksgiving, preparing a big dinner. You get involved in other things, forget that the cooker's on, and it gets overheated, and it gets to that point where it's in its flammability range. Doesn't matter whether it's oil, grease, or anything like that. With the oxygen in there, in the air, and the triangle of fire, it's a perfect storm, and the fire ignites.
But we're talking about something like oil. It doesn't take much. It can be on a low setting, and it can actually, if left on for that long, can turn into something like this. If this happens, a lot of people's first inclination, and we're going to step out of here just for safety reasons, but a lot of people's first inclination is to do what?
One of two things, either pour water on it or try and pick it up to either take it outside or put it under the faucet. Both of those are wrong. The first thing that we need to do, if possible, is raise the alarm, alert everybody in the house that there is a situation, and we can see our fire, we haven't done anything to it, and it's already picked up, and that's the kind of thing that you're going to see very, very quickly happen inside a home. Now, if you're approaching that stovetop when it does that, now the stove's on fire, the cabinets are probably getting involved in fire, it's dying down a little bit because of our own situation here. You need to escape from the house at this point. Raise the alarm, shut the door on the way out. If the fire is small enough where you think you can get it right then and there without any hindrance, approach the fire, keep low, keep down below that smoke layer, turn off the stove, and then attack the fire.
Okay, and then also you want to be able to put the lid right on top of the pot right there.
If it's possible to put the lid on the pot, perfect.
Obviously, in that situation, that was way too big for us to do that.
Yeah, we couldn't do anything at that point apart from use a household fire extinguisher.
Okay, guys, some really good tips. You know, people think this can't happen to them. It can. Also, you want to make sure that you've changed the batteries in your smoke detectors. I would just peek my head in, but it's a little smoky in there. So some good tips out here this morning with the Kern County Fire Department. Guys?
All right, Cambi, right now we should mention too, our photographer is pretty far away. He's just zooming in. It's not that Cambi sends him in there instead of
Beauty
herself.
of the Zoom.
Yes.
All right, Cambi, thank you very much.
Really quick, let's talk about preliminary safety, even before this, the opportunity for the flames to catch. How should people have their pots and pans?
Well, safety in the kitchen is paramount important at any time of the year. We get a lot of fires in homes around dinner time. A lot of that is because of pans being left on. We also get a lot of accidents, and a lot of people leave their handles out where they can be knocked. Whatever is in there can fall over, can, you know, burning oil burns a person. It's terrible. So make sure those handles are turned in away from the front edge of the stove so they're safer for everybody.
All right, now let's simulate exactly what happens when this gets too hot, it catches on fire, and then a lot of people, one of the first things that they think of doing is to take a cloth and to kind of bat the cloth at the frying pan. So why is that not a good idea?
Well, one of two things is going to happen. If you're going to bat it, like you said, you're going to fan the flames, you're going to catch the cloth on fire, and then you're just going to exacerbate the situation. So what Bill's going to do right now, he's protecting his hands, he's turning off the stove, he's going to lay that dampened towel over the pan, and that's it. Just leave it there, back away, the stove is turned off, shut the door, get out of the kitchen, call 911, get the fire department to come out and check it out.
Okay, you always want to call 911 in these situations if you have any sort of flames like that, just as a precaution.
Absolutely, as a precaution. The fire department will come out and check it for you. There's no fee involved or anything like that, so don't be afraid of calling out the fire department. It's not a waste of time. We're there for your safety, your protection, and that's what we do. We'll come out, we'll check it, and make sure that you are safe so you can get back on with your day.
All right, awesome, Sean. We want to make sure that everybody has a nice and safe Thanksgiving. Hey, two things really quick. Number one, congratulations to Sean. He just got promoted to captain. And number two, we need to thank Perky from Urner's. He donated the stove so that we were able to show this for you guys so you can see the flames out here this morning. Guys?
Cambi, ask Sean, does he remember how to put out fires? Because normally he just talks about fires with us.
Yeah, they want to know if you remember how to put out fires now that you're going to be out in the field, because since you've just been talking about it.
Yeah, I'm just all talk, right? in practice,
little less talk, a lot more action.
You're right. Well, I've had to put the fire out on this morning when I was practicing.
So there you go.
Can do it.
We're helping him practice. You're welcome, Kern County.
Very true. Congratulations to him, and he's put out plenty of fires with us as well too. All right, Cambi, thank you very much.